A question I get a lot: why be in an open relationship when you can just be single? Well, my question is: why be single when you can be in a relationship with someone that you love and also meet other people, see other people, go on dates, and be completely open and honest with what you're doing, what you want, what your intention is, and have an awesome relationship with a human being for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or maybe even forever, but it just feels better to be open. Why would I be single when I can have all the things?
Yeah, guys, I mean, it just feels better, so why wouldn't I go out there and do it? Right? You're going to see more and more of this stuff over the years as girls kind of turn men into women. Okay, you've got a lot of girls out here at the moment saying, oh, well, if he was a real man, he'd do X, Y, Z. Okay? And a lot of the guys who are growing up at the moment are growing up with the beliefs that these girls are giving them, right? Oh, you should just do anything that she says. Happy wife, happy life, all of that kind of garbage, right? And you're going to see a lot more girls who have multiple boyfriends and that sort of stuff because it feels better. And, you get the benefits of having more boyfriends, right? You get all that more attention, more dates, more resources. Hey, why the hell not? But what is going on, gentlemen? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, we're going to be breaking down a couple of videos as well as looking at a couple of articles. But before we jump into it, gentlemen, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure you subscribe on your way in and come and join the Discord and the locals links in the description if you haven't already. Both of those are totally free to join. So if anything happens to the YouTube channel, you will be notified through those two things. Gentlemen, when you go and join locals, it asks you if you want to pay, but to get in, you do not have to pay. It is totally free to go over and join there. I've had a couple of questions about that, but to get in and to join, it is totally free. Guys, we're going to pull up this first one here, and this is something that, look, I wanted to go a bit more on the videos first, but this is something that is something that's important to talk about. This is titled, I caught my girlfriend doing certain things 2 weeks before proposing. We have been together for 9 years and have a house and two children. It was about to be our 10th anniversary, and I finally decided, after years of plucking up the courage, to propose. She was acting different, and I could tell something was up, so I checked her phone. Never felt the need to do so before. Now, here's the thing about checking phones, guys. I do not think that you should go around checking girls' phones and whatever the case may be. Like, the girls who are going to cheat, people who are going to do this crappy stuff to you, are going to do it anyway. And if you give them fuel for it, they're just going to use it as justification for their actions. You will see guys in relationships all the time saying, like, okay, well, I asked her questions about this. And what the girls will use, like your insistence, you snooping around, you having a look at stuff. They're actually going to use those things just to gaslight you into oblivion. Dude, there's no point looking into this stuff. If girls are going to do this stuff, they're going to do it. You remove them from your life immediately. You do not stay with girls who are doing this stuff, but don't go snooping through people's phones and stuff like that, man. Just and it'll mess with your head as well. Let's keep going. She was acting different, and I could tell something was off, so I checked her phone. Never felt the need to do it before. I was right. She had been having fun with another guy, a lot of pictures and messages over the few weeks. I was absolutely gutted. I genuinely thought she would never do anything like this. I had the whole proposal planned, smart outfits for the kids to get involved too, ring picked, fancy hotel, and dinner booked. She has ruined everything and is now obviously distraught herself. Yeah. You see, when men give away commitment, right, when men do things for girls, you let's just say you withdraw attention from a girl, you withdraw resources from a girl, you withdraw things from a girl, they feel it. Okay, they absolutely feel it. When we talk on this side of the internet about, hey, rather than getting into arguments, rather than getting into big long discussions with girls over, oh, how come you did this to me? I thought you were my girlfriend. You're supposed to care about me. Gentlemen, there's no point doing all that stuff. One of the most powerful things you can do is to just walk away. Now, if you're a man who's not into relationships, not into dating and stuff like that, that's totally fine. But you look, even if you're a man who's walking away from relationships, there is just power in walking away in general. And as sad as it as sad as it is to say, oftentimes in today's society, that is the only power you have as a man. You want to get into some logical argument, right? People don't care about logic these days, man. You've seen all these certain kinds of false allegations and stuff like that flying around. It's not so much about the truth, about who's right and wrong anymore. It's about who feels which way. That is why, when I brought up this video, guys, at the beginning, this lady here, and please don't go and harass this lady here. But look, when we talk about videos like this and we talk about the concepts in the shows, guys, you got to understand that logic, right, is on its way out to most people. It is a rarity for people to actually consider what the hell is going on. A lot of times at the moment, your accusation, like let's just say someone accuses you, a lot of times that accusation will just be taken as truth right off the bat. Okay, and that's kind of something I wanted to talk about in today's show. You've got to understand that one, logic doesn't matter so much to other people. Girls are going to go out here and do this crap just because it feels good, no matter what. That's the first thing. Is that to say that all girls will do this? Absolutely not. Okay, but just understand that. Look, going out here arguing with people, it's a waste of damn time, man. It's an absolute waste of time. Now, we're going to jump into today's second story here. And this, I would encourage you guys, right? If you want to see, this was posted. Oh, okay, there you go. 51 minutes ago. It was 42 when I had this pulled up. This kind of stuff, man. All you have to do is go to r/relationship advice, right? And you will find this stuff so commonly it isn't even funny, right? So let's just jump through this article real quick. Girlfriend is cheating / planning to cheat. Next steps ? As if it's a question and you shouldn't just leave her, right? So this is the last thing I'd think I'd ever be posting today. Last night, I was in bed with my girlfriend of 2 years. I'm 30 and she's 24. And she fell asleep with her Netflix show playing, so her phone was still unlocked. The past week or so, she'd had some concerns about our relationship, mainly saying that she feels like she's been pushed away because she's super affectionate and I'm not the most affectionate. We talked things over and I didn't really think anything bad was going to happen going forward. But last night, I felt the strong urge to check her messages. She's been seeming a little suspicious lately, just constantly texting people late at night and being very protective of her phone. So I quickly went just to check her messages, and the very first conversation was from an unsaved number. We both don't have huge circles of friends, so pretty unusual. And when I opened it up, it was pretty short convo with a giant certain type of picture on it, and conversations between two people about the fun stuff they were planning to do, and then plans to meet up. The conversation was stamped for 2 nights ago at 11:55 p.m. Something really interesting about the end of relationships. You as a man, you might think that the relationship ends because, something happens so the relationship kind of ends. A lot of times you've got to understand that women will actually manufacture the ending of the relationship. So they'll do something that'll cause an issue or they'll raise an issue. So basically it comes down to she can feel more okay with herself and she can look better doing crap after the fact that the relationship has ended. Right? A lot of times the ending of relationships is manipulated. Okay, you might think that you're this is so whack that I have to say this, man, but you might think that you're acting of your own free will when you end a relationship. That's not always the case. It really isn't. But anyway, let's continue with the story here. I was so caught off guard. I woke her up from a deep sleep to confront her about it. She immediately freaked out when I asked her to show me her messages and then scrambled to very obviously delete the conversation from her inbox. Since it was the first conversation at the top of the list, it was very obvious it was deleted when I caught a glimpse of her phone screen during the situation. So basically her excuse was, I don't know what you saw, I would never cheat on you, I only want to be with you, etc. For context, we lived together for almost a year now and both work long hours, so there's not much time she'd really be even able to cheat as far as I know. She didn't really seem shocked or upset when I confronted her. Granted, it was almost 4 a.m. I regret not just taking pictures of the conversations and confronting her later on at a better time, but I was just so shocked I reacted out of emotion. We had a relatively long but calm talk about everything, and she still has not admitted she's done anything wrong, even went to lengths to say she thought I was the one cheating, since I have been less affectionate. You gotta love how this is kind of being turned on him, right? And here's something, right? Let's have a look at this. She didn't even really seem shocked or upset when I confronted her. Granted, it was almost 4 a.m. Let's just ignore the granted part here for a second. people can feign emotions. All right, I'm so sick of seeing stories where like it's really sad when we as guys we look at other people in our life and we think, okay, well if she's crying, that must be genuine. She's upset, that must be genuine. You will get into situations where you'll see husbands, long-term boyfriends and stuff like that sympathize with their girlfriends over the quote-unquote situations that they've been through. Right? Oh, I've been through such terrible relationships in the past, but I'm so glad you, a real man, is here to save me. You'll hear stuff like that, and they'll get emotional about their past partners and everything like that. They'll still be attracted oftentimes to their past partners, and they will have chosen those situations themselves, but they will still put on the crocodile tears or the emotion, whatever they think you need to see, just to kind of get it by. Guys, you have to be careful when you look at people. You've got to kind of discern whether the emotion is actually genuine or not, because you would be very surprised at the amount of relationships that are built on a foundation of the girl is lying about the emotions that she feels. It is a lot more common than you might think. But anyway, let's continue. We had a relatively long but calm talk about everything, and she still has not admitted to it. This we had a relatively long but calm talk about everything. Guys, there is a time for talking, and there is a time for just booting people out of your vicinity. And I don't mean that in a physical way before YouTube strikes my damn channel, right? What I'm saying is, when you get into situations like this, you are not there to have a discussion. You saw what you saw. You boot her out of your life. You don't need to be dealing with that person anymore. You don't need to be continuing to put up with the crap. They are gone. There's no and ifs or buts. There's no, oh, well, I thought you were less affectionate. No, you get out of my damn house and I will never speak to you again. It is very simple. Okay? Anyway, let's wrap up this story here. Long story short, she's currently at her friend's house. Who knows at this point? And I'm here typing this up. I basically told her that we're done. She needs to plan on moving out, but there's still that shred of me that wants to believe her, even though I have no hard evidence to prove that she wasn't cheating. She deleted the text. So what does everyone else think? I can give more details if needed as I remember them. You see, we as guys, look at this. I want to believe her. Right? You want to believe people. You want to believe that when people say stuff, it's the truth. It's not always the truth, guys. And I'm not saying this so that you guys get overdosed with cynicism or nihilism or anything like that. All I'm trying to say is you need to be careful what people say to you and look at it logically. You can't just be agreeing with people and just believing people. It disturbs me. It deeply disturbs me, and I hope it disturbs you too. How many people are out here at the moment who will just follow whatever is given to them? I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I find that to be not only disturbing, actually, but I find it to be quite terrifying when you kind of look at the big picture. Now, guys, we're going to pull up another video here, and this is one that I think this may be the thumbnail of the video. It may not, but it is certainly going to. It's probably going to be in the title. Okay, now. This is a fantastic video. I'm just going to let it play for itself and we can have a bit of a laugh together as we kind of segue into the next part of the show. And this might be a little bit loud, so just a bit of a warning.
Y'all want to know the main thing that really pissed me off? Like the fact that two women helped me push my car to the side. Two women offered. All these men walking by. See? That's why we be talking shit about men, because y'all really ain't shit.
Man, I love videos like this because it just makes it so plain to see. And shout out to the Discord, by the way, guys. I think both of these videos that I've shown today are actually from the Discord. But notice how you're not a man if you don't help. Let's listen to this, okay? Let's watch this again.
Y'all want to know the main thing that really pissed me off? Like the fact that.
Okay, so she's genuinely aggravated about this, right? So she well, or maybe who the hell knows, right? She's upset at the fact that men are not helping her, right? So this actually gets under her skin. And I know we just had a discussion about perceiving genuine emotions and stuff like this. This lady has got on TikTok and made a video about how she's mad about how men didn't help her. Let's continue.
Two women helped me push my car to the side.
Yep, okay, so women helped you, right? And I want you guys to notice this theme of, like, whenever you see this in men or women of, okay, well, good people are the ones that help me. Bad people are the ones that don't help you. Gentlemen, this goes for the men and the ladies as well. Dude, nobody owes you things. Okay? Nobody owes people anything. Like, and I use this channel as an example to kind of illustrate this point a lot of the time, but look, if you guys don't want to watch the show, if you don't want to subscribe, if you don't want to do any of that, that's totally up to you. I am not entitled to you guys watching the show. I'm not entitled to you guys subscribing to the YouTube channel. None of that. You can do that if you want to, and I'll encourage you at the beginning of each video in case you forget. Or, you know, I give a little nudge at the beginning of videos, but, like, I'm not entitled to having you guys here. Much in the same way that ladies are not entitled to men's commitment, right? Nobody's entitled to anything. The fact that I have to bring this up so frequently on the show, it's a little bit distressing, to be honest, because to think that there are so many people out here walking around with this idea that real people are the ones who help me is absolutely crazy. Because why would anyone? We don't know you. And hell, even if we do help you, here's the thing: if you're a guy and you choose to help ladies like this, you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get. She could call you a creep. She could not call you a creep. She could not want your help. She could not want your help. A lot of men look at this situation and go, okay, well, it's not necessarily an effort thing, like I couldn't be bothered helping. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, why would I? It's actually kind of dangerous for me to help this lady. You know, I could. There are things girls can accuse you of crap just out of left field. You know what I'm saying? So why the hell would you even bother? Is my question.
2 women offered. All these men walking by. See?
Yeah, and I mean, look at his face. Oh no. Oh no. Right? It's like, yes, men walked by and they didn't help you because they are not. You. You are not deserving. You are not entitled to them helping you. Like, why you would think that you are deserving or entitled to a stranger's help is beyond me, man. That just makes no sense.
That's why we be talking shit about men, because y'all really ain't shit.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just a very interesting conclusion to draw, isn't it? A group of people, or these 2 people didn't help me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to label a group of people as something negative. Isn't it? Wow, that sounds an awful like something that, you know, ladies like this would, I could only assume, advocate strongly against. You know, it seems to be okay when it's thrown one way, but not okay when it's thrown another way. You notice that when we watch these videos, gentlemen? Like when we look at this sort of stuff, when we talk about men and women's preferences and relationships, it always seems to be okay, right? When the women have preferences or when the women say stuff literally against men. But if men so much as bring up a preference in a relationship, oh my goodness, everybody loses it, right? Now, guys, this is we're going to jump into today's next story here. I'm kind of just hitting you with a bunch of stories here because I found a bunch of good ones, and this is another this is another good laugh. So I'm just going to pull this up and kind of describe what I have here for you. So basically, what these ladies on this certain subreddit have done is they've taken Leonardo DiCaprio's age and plotted on a graph, right? A graph, whatever, and then they've taken the girlfriend's ages. Now let's look at this, okay? So when he was 24, he was dating an 18-year-old. 25, 19. 26, 20. 27, 21, and so on. And you will notice that the maximum age that Leonardo DiCaprio has dated, even though he is currently, well, at least as far as this graph goes, I don't particularly know his age, but at age 44, the maximum age he has dated since he was 44, you know, up until 44, has been 25. And the girls lose their mind over this. You see, if you don't give them what they want, right? Let's just say, you know, referring back to that car thing that we just saw, or you don't date the right age, you know, you don't date the older ladies, they lose their mind, man. And this is just a funny graph that when girls want to talk about the wall and they want to say, oh, it's a concept, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a concept. I can still be 40 and get a boyfriend and stuff like that. The wall absolutely does exist, okay? And it looks similar to this. Right now, this has got a few more fluctuations than you might expect. But generally speaking, I mean, there seems to be a pretty big wall here, does there not, guys? Right? This is why it's called the wall, okay? Because there is a cutoff. It is a flat cutoff, generally speaking. Men universally like younger women. Okay, and the thing is, if you're a guy, particularly if you're a man of Leonardo DiCaprio's status, you can certainly choose to make these decisions, right? We often talk about on this channel, guys. I will talk about how girls are the selectors of the species. They get to choose who they want to date and stuff like that. And that's a sentiment I stand very much behind. If you're a guy and you're a celebrity or stuff like that, all it is you have more girls choosing you. You see what I'm saying? You have more options available to you. Girls are still the ones that choose to make the relationships happen and still choose to do all this stuff. Yeah, it still remains the same. Now let's look at this. So, there's Leonardo DiCaprio. All of his girlfriends look model. As far as I can tell, this is a little bit blurry on my screen, guys. All like model character women. It seems, right? All very similar looking ladies. And it's just funny. It's hilarious the fact that they plotted this out. And let's look at the title, by the way. I didn't even cover the title. The Eternal Hollywood F-Boy. Low value man logic. Man, I swear if I hear low value man, high value man one more time, oh my goodness. But that's a rant for another time. I'm just so sick of hearing those terms, man. Absolutely. But let's have a look at some of the comments. I haven't read them yet, so we're going to go through together and have a look. The true miracle is how he managed to stay with the first two girls for 5 years. You'd think the Grand High F-boy would pump and dump within 3 months. Right, blah, 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 blah. Yep, one of the highest paid model multiple years in a row. As a fellow Brazilian, she's a reason for great pride for us all. Imagine he wasn't as famous then. Maybe he's like the good luck Chuck for some of them, lol. Some of his exes married while their relationships ended. I refuse to date anyone 8 years or older than me. I like guys my own age at the most. I love seeing lies just on the internet. It fills me with joy, gentlemen. Anytime, like, people always seem to think that they're the exception. Right? Oh, I don't do this. I don't do that. And then you check out their relationships. Now, am I saying that this lady is necessarily lying? Okay, granted, she might not be lying. Okay? But oftentimes when you see statements like this, they're just plainly untrue. They're just absolutely untrue. For me, 5 is already too much, but I'm in my early 20s. When I was 22, I dated a 30-year-old thinking he'd be more likely to be serious. Ha ha ha. So at 26, max 8 years, but really up to 30 would be my preference if I were looking. I mean, look at this, right? The lady's 26, and she's still looking, right? You get these girls out here giving dating advice and wanting to talk about their relationships and, oh yeah, here's how you should date, girl. Man, girls giving dating advice to each other is some of the funniest stuff you will ever see. In fact, I hope I have one of these pulled up, actually. Yeah, I actually do have this article pulled up. Fantastic. I wanted to show you guys this. All right, so look at this. The dating subreddits have become a certain pool for a certain kind of people. Notice how this term is just thrown around. It's like they don't even know what it means, right? And a bullying ground directed at women, and it's sad. I came to the dating subreddits because it is therapeutic for me to give advice. Okay, so this person, counting down the days 5, goes to dating subreddits to give advice, all right? I have had great success in dating, and it is always a treat to help others. After my most recent traumatic experience, I assumed I could come back there to keep my mind off of ordeals, but to no avail. Can we just please acknowledge for a moment, gentlemen, how contradictory the first 2 sentences here is, okay? I have had great success in dating, but my most recent experiences have been traumatic. Now, we're kind of inferring here and kind of putting 2 things together, but we're going to assume that these are romantic experiences, right? Like, what else would, to keep it in line on the topic, it seems as though I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this lady thinks that she's successful at dating, but she's gone through a bad relationship just now. You choose the relationships. Like, how many times do I have to say this, right? These girls will be complaining, my relationship was so poor, I went through this particular situation, and every time they fail to take accountability for the fact that they are the ones choosing the relationships, and they want to call themselves successful daters. You are not a successful dater if you have not locked down a man. If you are a girl and you are not in a long-term committed relationship, you are not a successful dater. Securing bedroom funds, seeing lots of dudes, that is easy for you. That is a very difficult task for men. If a girl goes out there and she wants to have all these relationships and stuff like that, it's not a task. Ladies, it's not a task. It's not something that's difficult for you to do. What is difficult for you to do is to go and acquire a man who's worthy and actually keep him. Right? You get to choose the man that you pick. You get to choose the man that you want to be with. But you got to be able to keep him. I see all these girls running around thinking that they're queens, man, and they're just going from guy to guy. There ain't nothing queen-like about that to me. I look at that and I think and I've said this before, I think it's straight up embarrassing. I think that any guy that ends up with a girl who is out there doing that sort of stuff, I feel embarrassed for him. I really do. But it does not make you a quality girl. It does not make you a good dater if you've been with a lot of guys. It actually makes you a bad dater. It makes you unsuccessful at dating. These girls want to talk about, and before we jump back into the article here in a moment, just kind of having a bit of a rant here, right? Girls will want to say, oh, just because my marriage ended doesn't mean it was a failure. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If your marriage ended, you failed. Okay, girls leave marriages like you wouldn't believe, and then they want to turn around and say, "Oh, well, the marriage didn't fail. It failed till death do us part." Okay, that's enough of a rant on that. Let's kind of continue and wrap up today's show here, gentlemen. Anyway, after my most recent traumatic experience, I assumed I could come back here to keep my mind off of the ordeals, but to no avail. The subreddit has been overrun with men belittling women's advice. Yeah, and that's just totally unsubstantiated, guys. Why would you ever do that, right? Why? Oh, goodness me, gentlemen. Cool it down. Experience hardships and dilemmas. Yeah, that's because all of these things are a consequence of your choice. And the sad thing is the subreddits claim to be all-inclusive, but mostly focus on the males and their inability to get certain types of things. I am Jamaican and or a date. A young lady said, I am blah, 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 blah. I can't read these terms. And the male's reply was, at least you're getting attention of any kind. I like this subreddit, but women shouldn't be confounded to it because other spaces are not certain proof. Women shouldn't get bullied because they receive attention and should not be disregarded when that attention is negative. This should not be the only safe space for women. Dating subreddits like those are supposed to be unbiased, handle everyone with the same care, and not spew misinformation that demeans one side. Those sub are no longer like that. Yeah, guys, gosh darn that misinformation, drat, all these ladies giving relationship advice to each other, at least they're telling the correct information to one another. But if you disagree with them, gentlemen, you're spreading misinformation. That's just, what if you can't make it up, you really can't. But we're going to leave today's show there. As always, gentlemen, make sure you leave your comments and your thoughts below. If you disagree with anything I've said, feel free to do so, guys. That is what the comments are for. And just a quick note, I do not delete your guys' comments. I think for the duration that this channel has been live, for months and months at this point, and thousands and thousands of people coming through and commenting, I believe I've only muted like 3 people. I do not mute your guys' comments. Like, it's YouTube that goes through and marks all of your stuff, guys. The only people that I've removed from the channel has been like 3 out of thousands and thousands of people. So I am not going through there deleting your stuff. That's all on YouTube, guys. But we're going to leave today's video there. Make sure you come and join Locals and the Discord link in the description if you haven't already. Both of those are totally free to join. And yeah, make sure you take care of yourselves, gentlemen. And I will see you boys in the next video. Peace.